first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Let's say you've got questions. You're looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Well, Harmon Solar has the answers. Hi, I'm Jeffrey O'Brien, and listen, there's a couple of ways you can go here. One, visit harmonsolar.com, browse around, because right across the page, they got links to all sorts of great information, like frequently asked questions, equipment, tax credits, even testimonials. Or just give them a call, 800-281-3189. Ask them directly. They'd love to hear from you. That's 800-281-3189. Or just go to harmonsolar.com.
Don't miss a minute of the action when Sun Devil football returns to Mountain America Stadium Saturday, October 5th, when they take on Big 12 rival Kansas. Swoboda throws, intercepted by Piaseu. Cyrus Piaseu is going to take it all the way in for an Arizona State touchdown. A pick six for San Diego State transfer Cyrus Piaseu. Get your tickets today by calling 480-727-0000 or go online to sundeviltickets.com.
Now open in Scottsdale. It's United Forte Custom Door Showroom with 40,000 Euro doors and hundreds of state-of-the-art designs and finishes on display, plus kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, and more, all at wholesale prices. Builders, contractors, designers, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Forte, P-O-R-T-E. Stop by to see and feel the quality. United Forte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
My name is Mary Grace. Early diagnosis is key, but make no mistake, it is a devastating disease.
For more information, contact us at alz.org or through the 24/7 helpline at 800-272-3900. Sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM. Wherever you go, take us along. Listen to our live stream on our free Fanatic app. Download it today.
And we're back. It's Tuesday afternoon, and we could not be more thrilled today to get to you. You're listening to Beat the Book here on 1580 The Fanatic. My name is Keon Rose. Alongside me, as always, our betting expert, Dylan Cohen. We are broadcasting live from the Harmon Solar Studios in sunny uptown Scottsdale. Seriously, not a cloud in sight. And today on the show, we've got a lot of NFL to get to. 2 Monday Night Football games last night. Both of them broadcasted here on 1580 The Fanatic because we had to switch over because the first one was real bad. It was really, really bad.
You were happy about this.
I was happy about this because that meant good things for me. But we'll get to that a little bit later on in the show. On the Fanatic text line, that's where you are joining us, 888-368-1580, to give us your thoughts on what happened on Monday Night Football last night and if any bets that you made went well, went poorly. We'd love to hear from you. And this is the part, Dylan, where I usually ask you who powers the show. But you can get a little bit more specific than usual today, can you?
I've got a much better source to talk about who exactly powers this show than myself, because today we are joined live right now in studio with the CEO of Sport Trade, Alex Kane, along with the COO, David Huffman. We're so excited to have you guys here today. Thank you for joining us. Pretty exciting day of football yesterday. We all know Sport Trade is gearing up to prepare to launch here in Arizona. We've been teasing it for weeks. Alex, we've had you on the program, for the last few Fridays. We've been learning a ton about Sport Trade, all the different benefits and perks that it has to offer. And we know that this launch date is coming just around the corner here. Do you currently have an update for us on when Sport Trade is going to launch?
I do. This is awesome. This is so excited to be here. This is the first time I've ever, recorded anything live in a radio studio. This is awesome. I'm looking at a switchboard. I was joking with your dad. I feel like I'm in Good Morning Vietnam looking at this switchboard. Awesome.
Whatever you do, do not hit that red button. I got to talk to you about that. It looks very appealing, but it is going to cause like a doomsday of some kind. So
won't touch it.
Don't do it.
In terms of an update for Sport Trade, this is what we're looking at. We did just get an approval from the regulator. We have worked with the regulator for the last 3 to 4 weeks. They are awesome. And the coolest thing about the approval letter they just gave us is they said, good luck. We want you to do well in this state. Like, how cool is that? You sort of have a relationship with a regulator, and it sort of feels like, they're there to sort of tell you what to do, sort of thing. But in reality, they're partners. They want to make sure customers are protected. They want to make sure that when you're delivering this product, you're being transparent and fair. And to get that from the regulator, not only you're approved, but good luck. We're super excited. We're probably going to try and soft launch tomorrow. And then we're going to do something fuller and live on Thursday. If you already have created an account or you registered your interest online at sporttrade.com, you will get an email from us tomorrow when we soft launch. So we are at this point less than 24 hours away, which is very exciting.
That is super, super thrilling. And so again, just to be clear, if I've already, listened to this program and I've searched Sport Trade, I've already set up my account, I've got everything ready to go, I'm going to receive some kind of a notification once we have the green light and everything is launched, and I'll have the ability to go onto the app and place a wager. That's exactly right. If you already have an account, all you're going to do, you're going to get an email from us. Email is going to say you actually get an enhanced welcome offer, and that'll be in the email. So that's an incentive for folks to go up and sign up right now. Go on sporttrade.com and register your interest, or go ahead to the App Store, Android and iOS. That's a new update. We're going to launch Android as well. We found out about that this morning. You're going to open the app once you see the email. You're going to, fund it, and you're off to the races. It's going to be that easy. So, I mean, this is really, we were talking about this before we came on. Everything's at the 1 yard line right now. That's kind of the best way to phrase this. I mean, there could be something that might come about, but, if everything looks good, then everything's going to be a go by hopefully tomorrow is what it sounds like. Dylan, we call this in Philadelphia the tush push when you're on the 1 yard line and you got Jalen Hurts there. We don't have Jason Kelce anymore, but I think the tush push is just about where we are right now. It's a good way to paint a picture of the situation. I definitely appreciate that. Last night, Sport Trade, they're actually here in Arizona right now, meeting with prospective bettors and people that just want to get involved with the app and recognize all of the just great benefits that it has compared to everything else that is currently available for you as far as sports betting goes in Arizona. We've talked pretty constantly about all these different things, but while I've got you here and we can hear it directly from you live, if you just want to kind of rattle through some of the big perks of why anyone that might be hearing you for the first time right now, why should you be placing your wagers through Sport Trade compared to everyone else? Yeah, so we had an awesome sort of pre-launch event. I know, Dylan, you and your dad came out. That was a great time. I'm surprised to get 45, 50 people there. People were excited about the app. We're watching Monday Night Football games, and what a great example. Washington was about plus 300, which is 25% win probability. Imagine scooping them up pregame. And now they're up 8 points. They're up 2 touchdowns. They're close to 3 scores before that game tightened up a lot. So there's a great example where you get in at 25% odds. The odds shoot towards, I think by halftime was 50, 55%, then went up to 70 or 80% before Cincinnati got back in the game. So just imagine the volatility in that game as a perfect example. And the best part about when you place bets on Sport Trade, instant bet acceptance. So no more 5-second spinny wheels and the bet, you miss your bet. When you see a price and you like a price on Sport Trade and you want to put your $10 bet in, $100 bet in, it's instantly accepted. Well, and I know like between Keon and I, at least, that's probably our number one favorite thing about the platform is just this whole ability to stop reading these wagers as these obscure American odds, your minus 110s, your plus 240s. I mean, if that's what you're looking for out of your sports betting experience, you can still get that with Sport Trade, but there's a whole other way to actually look at these scenarios as percentage likelihoods, instead of the traditional odds. And then, going back to last night, here we were watching this very back and forth, Bengals and Commanders game. And this is almost kind of a theme with the Bengals, because here we were, a week prior texting about the really close Bengals and Chiefs game. And anytime you have a game, doesn't have to be, a Bengals game. It can be anyone, whenever it's neck and neck, and then one team takes a lead and then another takes a lead and then another takes a lead. Sport Trade gives you this whole dynamic where you don't have to wait for the game to end. I mean, there's different positions you can essentially take where you're kind of working essentially like a day trader, where like within this one game, without me needing a specific team to win, I'm just counting on it being volatile, and I'm counting on this team to score, and then I'm counting on that team to one up them and score again. And when you see those scenarios, you can leverage the implied probability to just make a quick buck. And those were the kinds of things you were showing me yesterday. So that was really cool to see. Something else that I definitely want to bring up, because this is pretty big news and a huge honor for Beat the Book as well. But with Sport Trade gearing up to launch here very soon, someone out there is going to have the luxury of being the very first person to place a wager in the state of Arizona through the Sport Trade app. And Alex and David have so graciously decided to bestow Beat the Book, the program here, with the honor of placing that very first wager. So I definitely want to say thank you so much to both of you guys. I definitely don't take this lightly here. This is something that you've done with the other 3 launches that you guys have had so far. Which states were those again, and what kinds of bets did other people do for the first bets in those states?
So most recently our most recent state we launched in was Iowa. Alex and I are in Las Vegas. This is May of this year. Alex turns to me and says, we're pretty close to launching in Iowa. And he turns to me and says, do you want to go to Iowa? And I said, for what? And he said, well, we're launching there. And so Alex and his dad are big Field of Dreams fans. They've been there. I think this was probably going to be his 3rd time in about a year's time, right? And so Alex calls his dad, and his dad, without even batting an eye, says, I'm in. So his dad books the flight to Chicago. Alex and I reroute our flights from Las Vegas to Chicago, and we meet at the airport. Alex didn't tell his dad I was coming. I popped out of the back seat, and his dad was a surprise. So start driving down, and so Alex and I just have really made a point to really celebrate some of these state launches. And so we went to Field of Dreams. Alex and his dad threw a catch. And Alex's dad made a ceremonial first bet there in Iowa. That was Phillies to win the World Series, which is trading quite well right now. And
Bought
so,
at 5.5% odds.
Yeah,
It's
5%.
now around 20. So there's a little 4Xer for you.
Yeah,
Got to go
and
back to Iowa to sell it.
And so, like I said, just celebrating these first ceremonial bets. Like Alex said, the amount of work that goes into it, you really just need to celebrate it and really make something meaningful out of it. So I think having you on, you guys have been great partners with us so far. It's going to be a really cool experience and an honor for us to have you place it as well.
We definitely appreciate that, David. And you guys were telling me last night how we have to find like some kind of a prop, something that represents the state, all the work that you're putting in, to getting this going. And, it's so different when you're this big conglomerate, this big publicly traded company, your DraftKings, your FanDuels, your Bet365s, with all their boots on the ground and all the manpower to, just move mountains and make something like this happen. For those guys to go into a new state versus someone that is trying to build something a little bit more from scratch, something that has a bit more care and detail kind of built in and just has a better overall objective. It's harder to move on these things. And, this has been a process. We've been in communication, waiting for this to come around for months. So, for us to see you guys, right at the Jalen Hurts tush push, it's so exciting. And, just thinking about what kind of a wager that we could place as the very first wager on Sport Trade, something that represents Arizona. Keon, we haven't had a whole lot of time to really decide on this, and we may have some more time, but by tonight, the platform may be ready for us to potentially place this wager. I know you're probably riding really high on your Commanders right now after yesterday.
Higher than usual, yeah.
I guess, is there anything that kind of comes to mind for you, for what we could look to wager on behalf of Beat the Book?
I as high on the Commanders as I am right now, which is very. I'm going to be obnoxious about this, just so you know. But I do think that I want to do something local. I want to do something Cardinals, Suns, or Diamondbacks related. I think that'd be cool.
It feels right,
Yeah.
and that's exactly kind of where my sort of gut was at with it. But if you've got any ideas for any Arizona centered bets that we could look to place as the very first wager ever on Sport Trade, go ahead and text us right now, 888-368-1580. We'll turn this into like a who wants to be the millionaire, ask the crowd kind of a thing. Let's crowdsource this. I mean, geez, the way that the NFL has gone the last couple of weeks, I mean, seems like it's like you got to like ask the audience now. Like you can't even just trust your gut. Although I did see a stat, and it looks like any public money kind of backed team right now, like you're just losing. Like they flat out, it's got like less than like a 500 record, and furthermore, through 3 weeks, underdogs of 5.5 points or higher are 13-2 against the spread.
Incredible.
9 of those teams have won outright. I mean, this is like unprecedented. I have been pulling my hair out trying to, be the expert of the NFL and beat the book. And it's admittedly not really gone our way the last week. So we definitely need to take some care with this first bet that goes into Sport Trade. It's got to buck that trend for sure. Alex, wanted to just kind of chat with you a little bit more while I've got you in here. Something that we haven't really talked about regarding Sport Trade that wanted to get some comments on from you is just this whole dynamic that I've started to encounter this more recently. This wasn't something that came up until, over the last year or so. How does Sport Trade approach like limiting people or potentially even restricting people from a platform? I'm not going to say who did it, but someone out there didn't like the wagers I was placing, apparently, even though they were making money off me, and they banned me from their platform, which I almost kind of took it as a compliment.
So the thing about Sport Trade is we had this event last night. We got 45, 50 people to show up. It was awesome. The number one question we get asked is, what are your limits? Am I going to get limited? How does that work? And we joke all the time, and David and I joke, David is responsible for so many things we do here. We sort of joke with each other and say, we wouldn't even know how to limit you. When you see on our platform, you have an opportunity to see what is the limit on this bet before I even place it. I mean, there's not a lot of sports books that even give you that transparency. And the coolest thing about that limit, it's the same for everyone. So if the Washington Commanders on the money line are offered at 25% plus 300, it might say $6,000. That's the limit for everyone. There's no way for our system to discriminate based on if you're a good bettor, bad bettor, or otherwise. And so that's a really unique feature, and it's a reason customers love the platform.
Well, and I mean, to take that one step further, if you ever had a question about anything related to this app, if something just doesn't feel right to you, whatever it is, it's pretty easy to get a hold of Sport Trade customer service, isn't that right?
Very easy. I'm very proud to say that David has figured out a way to get customer service direct messages directly to our computers on iMessage. So if you text us, it's either going to be myself, David, Brian, Brandon, Lacey, or Gina. It's going to be one of us. And we're there to help you. I've lost my password. I need help with a deposit. To more complex things. Hey, I like this game. I want to bet 5,000. You're offering minus 106, which is 51% odds. Can I get minus 104? I can get minus 105 somewhere else. If you can beat it, you can have it. So that's another thing that we offer. That can you imagine going to DraftKings or going to FanDuel and negotiating on price? It's kind of like going to a big box store and trying to treat it like a thrift shop. You can't do it. So that's another great benefit that we offer, this sort of tech service to players. And whatever the issue is, customers think we have great customer service because I think we really care.
So that's funny you mentioned the whole dynamic of being able to negotiate a price, because that's absolutely something that is not like available literally with any other sports betting app that I'm at least familiar with. But David, while I've got you in the studio right now, I'd like to try and negotiate a price here on a wager that I'm thinking about utilizing as the very first Arizona Sport Trade wager. What would you say pricing looks like right now for the Arizona Diamondbacks to win the National League?
So you came to us right before that we came on the air, and so I pulled up my phone to kind of check where the market was, and I see some different pricing out there. I see DraftKings, I think, is about 11-1. FanDuel looks like it's about 14-1, which is about 6.5%. I think we'd be offering you somewhere in the range of 6% for the Diamondbacks to win the NL.
That would be the best price in Arizona.
Would be the best price in Arizona, yes.
So that's definitely something that
By the way,
Keon and I will have to take into consideration.
couple of texts on the text line. You got one from Radio Ron. Diamondbacks to win the World Series. And then you got a CK saying we're a Suns town. So I'd say Suns or Diamondbacks because they have our lone championship. Little Cardinals hate thrown in there. I'm not,
You know,
CK likes the Niners, I think. So that's fine.
It's been like 16 years, but we all still hate the Steelers here, and that Super Bowl still it's fresh in my head. I mean, there may or may not be a little sanctuary for Kurt Warner over here.
The Kurt Warner shrine.
Yeah, the little shrine that we've got set up.
Yeah.
So those feelings might be a little raw, but everyone, I think we're all kind of on the same page here. So this is going to have to be Arizona centered. I definitely love something Phoenix Suns related. But at the same time, I don't want to get a little too crazy with it. And that's also why in my head, I'm kind of leaning towards Diamondbacks to win the National League. We saw them do it last year. It's looking like they're going to have a very similar path set up as far as how the postseason is shaking out. We'll have to see how that evolves over the next week with everyone in the MLB playing their final games. With that being said, we do need to jump to a break here. So just want to thank Alex and David again for joining us here on the show. Really excited to have you. Thank you so much for the opportunity to make that first wager in sport trade history in Arizona. That is an honor that we do not take lightly here, and we will do our best to beat the book with that pick.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having us. And we're going to make a big moment out of this first bet. Let's hope it wins.
Well, let's Keon and I will do some research. We'll figure something out, and you all will know exactly what that pick is. I will be sure to post that on the Beat the Book website. And when we come back from break here, we're going to chat more about this craziness in the NFL and trying to navigate. How the hell are we going to make money in week 4? Jeez.
Great question. Listening to Beat the Book here on 1580 The Fanatic.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Live and local.
Kevin Harlan here from Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner and I are set to bring you the action between the Falcons and the Eagles from Philadelphia. Philly with Saquon Barkley, the running back, now sparking the offense. They return home after a big win in Brazil over Green Bay. Now they host Atlanta, looking for their first win with quarterback Kirk Cousins. Join us on Monday Night Football.
Right here on 1580, The Fanatic.
Vanguard is 100% client-owned, serving over 50 million investors every day. Whether you're planning for retirement, putting your kids through college, or saving up for your next adventure, Vanguard can help you set personalized investment goals. All investing is subject to risk. Vanguard is owned by its funds, which are owned by Vanguard's fund shareholder clients. Copyright 2024, The Vanguard Group, Inc., all rights reserved, Vanguard Marketing Corporation Distributor.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
A new app called Sport Trade is coming to Arizona to make minus 110 odds obsolete. Search Sport Trade Wells to see the great prices Sport Trade players are getting in real time.
If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Tommy, I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
My pain is considerable, but that prescription is dangerous.
The side effects of my medicine are worse than my condition.
I'm in recovery. I can't take those pills.
When faced with a health crisis, you shouldn't have to choose between risks.
At the Naturopathic Physicians Group in Scottsdale, our medical doctors are experts in full spectrum care using a natural approach. Patients come in for a variety of issues, including joint pain, chronic conditions, and issues specific to men's and women's health. Our naturopathic doctors can restore pain-free joint function and restore balance in immune, digestive, and hormone systems, which often improves immediate physical symptoms without having you take a bunch of pills. If traditional medicines aren't working, don't you think it's time to start feeling like yourself again? Call Naturopathic Physicians Group at 480-451-6161. That's 480-451-6161. Or go to naturopathicgroup.com.
Unsure how to cast your vote for judges on this year's general election ballot? The Arizona Commission on Judicial Performance Review makes it easy for voters to understand how Arizona judges are performing. The commission evaluates judges using nonpartisan codes of conduct and public input to make recommendations for voters. Finish your ballot with confidence. Learn more about the judges on your November ballot by visiting azjudges.info. That's azjudges.info. Remember, your vote matters. Sponsored by the Arizona Commission on Judicial Performance Review.
We are getting ready to crown a champion.
Championship weekend is coming back to the desert.
Let's get this party started.
4 title races in 3 days means there will be a buzz in the air all weekend long. Whether from the grandstands, the infield experience, or the hillside, this is your chance to witness history and make championship caliber memories for the whole family. NASCAR Championship Weekend at Phoenix Raceway, November 8th through the 10th. Get your tickets now at phoenixraceway.com.
My name is Mary Grace. There are a few misconceptions about Alzheimer's. It's not just memory loss. It's the loss of mobility, the risk of falling.
For more information, contact the Alzheimer's Association at alz.org, sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association.
Now, you can be the guy that eventually gets bits and pieces of the latest news, or you can get the whole story when it breaks. The NFL is always in season here.
That's how we do it.
Follow us on Facebook or Twitter, or at 1580thefanatic.com.
You know what's getting low? Your bank account. If you bet some of these games and you bet them straight up, and you were low on the underdogs. The underdogs have been taking us all out this NFL season.
I thought the total scores were going to be low yesterday. That did not happen.
No, a couple of overs hitting, I believe. I mean, because that Washington, Cincinnati game.
Oh my God. It was like, just before halftime, you started to really kind of see what kind of a game that was going to be.
Mhm.
And you're just like, I'm like, oh, well, there goes my under.
Yep. Shootout central. And then when you look at Buffalo and Jacksonville, which is where we're going to start, because that was the first game that was starting to broadcast last night. I really think this is very dumb how ESPN does this. You have 2 Monday night games on, but one starts half an hour after the other one. So you're watching one game and they show you flashes of the other game. And at least for me, I was at the gym, so I wasn't able to watch the Washington-Cincinnati game live, but I'm seeing flashes of the game. And ESPN is essentially telling me, don't worry, the better game is the one you're not watching right now.
Yeah.
Lovely.
And, it's unfortunate. Well, or perhaps it is fortunate, because I mean, if there's 2 really good games going on at once, it's kind of hard to pay attention to both of them. So last night was just one of those deals where, by halftime, you knew the Jags-Bills, you already knew the full outcome of how that was going to go. You really didn't even need to watch the second half. So then all of your attention probably diverted to that Bengals and Commanders game. Real quickly, though, just wanted to kind of highlight on the fact that, Sport Trade, again, we just had the COO, David Huffman, and the CEO, Alex Kane, here in studio live. That was the first time that they've been in here live to speak about Sport Trade. You can still catch Alex on the program every Friday. He is doing a weekly check-in interview with us, so we can continue to get all those great insights from the actual founder and leader of an actual sports betting platform that is operating here in Arizona. Just to kind of contextualize what was said prior to us going to break there, David had mentioned that if we choose to use the very first bet in sport trade history in Arizona on the Arizona Diamondbacks to win the National League, they would price that at roughly 6%. So if you go to that implied probability calculator that you can find on the Beat the Book website, and if you pop in 6% on that calculator, that's coming out to like just a hair under plus 1,600 odds. I just tried to do like a quick scan of, DraftKings, FanDuel, like what are everyone else's prices on this? And it was just like David said. I mean, the absolute best price I can find besides Sport Trade is FanDuel at 14-1. So these guys are going to give you a little bit of extra juice with any kind of bet that you do. So again, if you have not already, search Sport Trade, get your account set up. They're launching very, very soon. When the launch happens, you're going to get proactively texted and emailed letting you know, hey, you're all good to go. Sign into your app and start placing wagers. So definitely don't miss out, because even these small differences in the pricing, I mean, they still make a big difference, especially in a futures bet where you're really just trying to shop around and get the absolute best price that you can. So just wanted to make sure to hammer that home. Let's talk a bit about this Jaguars and Bills game.
This ugly,
this
hideous,
beatdown.
awful thing that didn't really resemble a football game so much as just one guy beating another guy up in a parking lot.
It was literally the personification of the schoolyard bully going up to the shrimpy little kid and punching him hard in the stomach and taking his lunch money and walking away. That's what Josh Allen did last night
repeatedly
to the Jaguars. So 47-10 final score. Trevor Lawrence goes 21 completions out of 38 passing attempts, 178 passing yards. He got sacked 4 times. Meanwhile, Josh Allen throws for 4 passing touchdowns, completes 23 throws out of 30 attempts for 263 passing yards. Keon, is Josh Allen the front runner right now for the MVP?
Yes. I just, I could try and talk around it and maybe stretch the point out a little bit and be more dramatic about it. He's been the best player in the NFL, and it hasn't been close. He really has just, at least through so far this season, taken his team, thrown them on his back, and carried them to every win that they've had. And they needed him in the Arizona game. Like the Cardinals had the Bills dead to rights, and then Josh Allen throws on the Superman cape, and the rest is history. And then he did it from the beginning last night, where he just knew from the start, let's not even let Jacksonville have any life. Let's not have them get any momentum. And sure enough, anytime it looked like the Jaguars were going to do anything, when the Bills got the ball back again, they ended in points. Like that, you just can't have that if you're Jacksonville, for as good as that defense can be. And they were unfortunately made to look very stupid last night.
Well, and I think the thing that does it for me is, I mean, there's been so much talk about all these guys that left Buffalo, and where is Josh Allen going to find the offense from? He's lost his weapons. There's no more Stephon Diggs. There's no more Gabe Davis. Who is he going to throw the ball to? And as an MVP should, a big element of winning that award is just elevating the play of everyone around you. And what have we seen through 3 weeks? Khalil Shakir looks like a pretty capable wide receiver in this league. James Cook arguably is like one of the best running backs that we've seen.
He's a top 5 running back this year.
I mean, just an absolute dual threat. I mean, 48 receiving yards yesterday, tacked on an extra 39 rushing yards. One of the only dependable running backs that you could have, tried to do that combined rushing receiving yards prop bet for. So, he is someone that, you can continue to keep in mind to try and place that wager. He was not one of the 7 running backs that just didn't have our back on Sunday. And, with that being said, there's some interesting storylines kind of brewing right now on the opposite side of this with the Jags. I don't think anyone really expected them to be 0-3 at this point.
No, and including them, because, you talk about the Bills don't have Gabe Davis anymore. Where did he go? Jacksonville. The center, their starting center, they've got a new center this year in Buffalo. Where did he go? Jacksonville. Like, Jacksonville thought they were going to be good. That's why they went out and got a bunch of players in free agency in the draft.
Well, no, and then instead you just keep getting these deflating performances from Trevor Lawrence, and it's almost kind of difficult at who to assess the blame to here. I mean, there's this whole school of thought that has definitely been popularized recently, with Bryce Young. And is it the organization's fault that, no one's been able to really recapture some of the magic that you showed in your college years? Why is that not translated to the NFL? Is it on Trevor Lawrence? Is it on the situation? Is it on Doug Peterson? I mean, what are you seeing here, that's leading to the play right now for the Jags?
The Jacksonville Jaguars have to be the single most frustrating team to watch, because they have a problem, which is that parts of their team will work. And I'll focus on the offense. Parts of this offense will work, but never at the same time. So sometimes, like, Trevor makes a great throw, receiver drops it. Sometimes Trevor holds onto the ball way too long. So the blocking's really good from the offensive line, but he holds onto the ball too long. He gets sacked, plays over. Sometimes the offensive line gives up immediately, and now Trevor's running for his life. And then he either makes a great throw and it's not caught, or he makes a horrific throw. But there's some part of every operation, every single game, every possession that this team has, where things don't work for every unit all the time. And you scratch your head and you have to wonder why. Like, you have to assume that coaching is playing a part on some level, that Doug Peterson and the Jacksonville Jaguars don't look prepared all the time for some of these games. But also, like, I think we just have to admit what Trevor Lawrence is. Like, I hate to say a guy that is a starting caliber quarterback is a bust, because I don't think he is. But compared to what we thought he was going to be, we thought Trevor Lawrence was going to be the kind of player Josh Allen is, where you're elevating rosters and you're taking players that maybe aren't the greatest, but you're getting the most out of them. Trevor can't do that. He either can't do that or he hasn't done it yet. But either way, I think that is a little bit on Trevor for not being the player that they thought he was going to be. And they have to adjust their expectations and say, you know what? We got to start putting game changers around Trevor Lawrence, because he doesn't have that ability by himself to be a game changer. A little disappointing for where you drafted him, but you can still make that work, and plenty of teams have.
I'm almost noticing this trend, and perhaps the blame, and this is going to be kind of going off on a limb, maybe it's not necessarily Trevor Lawrence, maybe it's not necessarily the Jags front office or the team or the situation. What if this goes back to the program that he's getting developed by, Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers? I mean, Trevor Lawrence is not the first touted quarterback to come out of that program with very lofty expectations of what he could achieve in the NFL. Then you actually see some flashes of greatness. It's not like Trevor Lawrence has just been bad the whole time.
In fact, every game, Trevor Lawrence had 2 or 3 throws last night that there's maybe 4 guys on the planet that can make those. And still, it's not enough, because you got to do it more often than every now and then.
I think about Deshaun Watson, and granted, that's a very nuanced situation.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
There's off the field things that probably impact the way that anyone looks at him. And maybe that's just a subconscious thing, because now you're getting into morals and ethics.
But I don't think so, because Deshaun Watson with the Texans was starting to become something pretty scary. And then he goes to Cleveland, and there's no version of that on the field ever again. Like, even when he's played well, he hasn't looked like Houston Deshaun Watson. Like, there is a level of, like, you don't look at him the same after all of the off the field allegations, but he hasn't played as well. That is a fact.
If you can think of any other former Clemson quarterbacks that came into the NFL and maybe they flashed some greatness for a season or two, but for the most part, they've just been mediocre, and you can contribute more to this, please text us 888-368-1580.
By the way, we've got a couple of texts on the text line. CK said, oh yeah, this crazy NFL season and AI sleeping. I'm even now. And then he has the, smacking your palm on your forehead emoji. Kringleberry is being very hateful and mean right now. He says, I've got a good Arizona team bet. Phoenix Suns under 47.5 regular season wins, which I can assure you is not going to happen.
Is that a troll?
He's just, we got plenty of Suns haters. You don't have to look very far. If you throw a rock in Phoenix, you'll hit somebody who hates the Suns.
Someone knows how to like get me going over there.
Yeah. No, you'll get Dylan fired up. Just beware what you're asking for when you do that. And then Baker's cocky hen says, "I got a real complaint. That Jaden Daniels kneel down cost me my parlay by a yard."
Oh no!
The NFL needs to decide that isn't a run play. It's not. It's genuinely not. We've had enough running quarterbacks for long enough in the NFL. You can go back before Michael Vick. You want to go to Warren Moon, but we've had enough of a history of that position running the football, actually running the football, that we can all agree a kneel down is not an intent to run. I agree with you, Baker's cocky heads.
I actually saw there were a number of people that were on Patrick Mahomes rushing yards on Sunday, and the same exact thing happened where he did like 4 consecutive kneels, but each one he was getting like -4 yards on.
The thing is, when you get sacked, they take it from the passing yards. So why don't just do that?
Right.
Why does it have to be a rushing? Because you're not rushing. You're intentionally kneeling down.
Yeah, you're giving yourself up. I mean,
I don't know. I agree.
Right
they got to figure out something with that, just statistically.
Well, and going back to the Jags here, wanted to kind of throw this out because I've heard this be a topic of discussion for today, and I think it's justified. Is Doug Peterson on the hot seat right now?
His seat is if it's not hot already, it's getting toasty. He's got to figure out a way to win a football game in the next 2 weeks.
So next game for the Jags is at the Texans. Don't really like their chances.
I don't like their chances there, but like their chances are better there than they've been.
Well, and I guess the way that I feel means nothing, and that's kind of like we all have to numb our intuition now, which is it just feels crazy to even say that, but
yeah.
That's where we're at right now with the NFL.
But I refuse to believe the Texans are suddenly a bad football team. So that's where I'm worried about the Jaguars there.
Well, and then after that, they're at home against the Colts. And then after that, they do their 2-game series in London. So, I mean, if the Jags happen to get to that London series without a win, I just don't see Doug Peterson even getting on the plane, or maybe they just purposely fly him there to.
Yeah,
then
it's like
give him the news there.
You just take your sabbatical in London and then come back and we'll have all your stuff in a box, because he's in a territory where they were disappointing last year, but it felt like they were close. Like they just needed a few more things to go their way, a couple calls, a couple of dropped passes needed to get caught. And we're probably talking about Jacksonville as a playoff team last year, and maybe they don't go far or do anything, but they're there. They just missed the playoffs last year. So to start 0-3 just feels like a continuation of the disappointment. And I just know that Shad Khan is not a very patient man when it comes to that kind of stuff.
No, and they do care about their fans, across the pond. They definitely don't want to fly all the way over there just to continue to lose. So at some point, Shad Khan's going to put his foot down, and
that'll be
knows?
that.
Right.
And Peterson's not bad, but he has made some decisions where you go, okay, the offensive line is struggling to protect Trevor Lawrence. Maybe we get more into the quick game. Maybe we're not trying to take as many deep shots because we just don't have the line to hold up long enough for those routes to develop. But he's continuing to run out the same concepts, and he's going to go down with the ship, it looks like.
So, Keon, I know we've been kind of holding this back for much of the show, and I know we do have a break that is coming around the corner here, but I do want to give you some space to celebrate the chaos that occurred yesterday in Cincinnati.
I should have changed my pick. I had a feeling yesterday, but I didn't want to be a homer, so I left my pick Cincinnati, and Cincinnati goes and they score immediately. And I was like, oh, never mind. Maybe I was wrong. And then from that point to halftime, it was all Washington football.
Well, and I think it's fair to say that was the absolute best rookie quarterback performance that we've had so far this season.
Yeah.
I mean, the potential for Jaden Daniels in Washington is there.
He's looked like the best rookie quarterback for sure. Bo Nix had a pretty good Sunday, but like through 3 weeks, Jaden Daniels is consistently the best quarterback of this bunch. That's better than Caleb, and obviously Drake and JJ haven't played yet. Malik Neighbors has a very strong rookie of the year case, though, because what he did to the Browns on Sunday, Daniel Jones was throwing him very bad footballs. I mean, there was one throw where it was just like, I don't even know what Daniel thought was going to happen. And Malik Neighbors saved it. That's what happened. So Malik's got a really good case. And if he keeps balling out, it's going to probably come down to Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors, who, if you remember at the beginning of the season, had a friendly wager to see who was going to win Rookie of the Year before the NFL put the kibosh on that, because it's a very bad look. But it's going to be the two of them as finalists, I'm sure.
I love the irony in this. And now, honestly, at this point, as much as I love Marvin Harrison Jr., as much as I want him to succeed and do as well as he possibly can, give us this head-to-head matchup of Malik Neighbors and Jaden Daniels. Like, let's see this like really just go the full year, because I mean, you got two young guys that, I mean, they're competitive. I know they called this off, but who knows? They might have some backroom.
I think they still do, but they called off the public wager because they're the NFL's right. It doesn't look great.
Right. No, I mean, you definitely got to be a little discreet about that stuff when you're, a professional athlete and you're actually in the league. So do we want to go to break?
Yeah, let's go ahead and pay some bills, and then we come back. We're going to talk about the picks that we've got going on today. And I'm going to continue to be smug about the Commanders, because I don't have this many opportunities. Okay, this is a lifetime of waiting, and we're 2-1. And I am going to take many victory laps in week 3. That's just what's going to happen. You can laugh at me if you want to. I don't care. I actually don't care. You're listening to Beat the Book here on 1580 The Fanatic.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Live and local.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
All right, so there we were, cruising through the new open-air zoo, when I realized that the park was closing in like 15 minutes. That's when the afternoon took an exciting turn. Luckily, we were in my Nissan Rogue. With its powerful DC turbo engine, well, we had more than enough time to see all the animals. Whoa. And outrun a few.
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now, Nissan offers 6 vehicles starting under $30,000 MSRP. Shop at your local Nissan store or at nissanusa.com. 2024 Nissan Altima, Kicks, Leaf, Rogue, Sentra, and Versa. All prices are manufacturer's suggested retail price. Manufacturer's suggested retail price excludes destination and handling charges, tax, title, license, and options. Dealer sets actual prices.
In most countries of the world, Porte means door. United Porte Custom Doors, located in the Scottsdale Airport Design District, is now open with over 40,000 European doors, all in stock, ready for delivery, and at wholesale prices. Designers, contractors, builders, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Porte, Porte. Stop by to see and feel the quality at United Porte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
Lab-grown diamonds might be new to retail, but not to Desert Wholesale Diamond. Hi, Diamond Dave Cantor of Desert Wholesale Diamond. And even though I'm a 4th-generation natural diamond importer, I was the first to import these gorgeous, eco-friendly, low-carbon footprint, conflict-free, real and genuine diamonds to the West Coast. And unlike everyone who's recently gotten on the lab-grown bandwagon, we work with the largest growers in the world to bring you the best possible diamonds at the lowest possible price. We know what to import and what to reject. And because we're importing direct, working in our low overhead wholesale offices, and making our own rings, bracelets, and earrings in our own facility, we can offer better pricing than anyone. So work with the leader, not the followers, and let us find you the perfect cultivated diamond for less, a lot less.
Call 480-397-2450. That's 480-397-2450. Or follow Dave on Instagram at Diamond Dave Cantor. That's at Diamond Dave, Kantor.
This is Brian Musburger. Don't miss Betting Across America, Saturdays at 11 a.m. right here on Arizona Sports Betting Station, 1580 and 99.3. The Fanatic.
Seabass on the text line telling me to cool my jets a little bit. I did say from the very beginning, if they were to win last night, I was going to be insufferable. I don't know what to tell you. I warned everyone.
This is the week-long Keon Rose dance party to celebrate.
Absolutely correct.
The Commanders win on the road.
Yeah, I mean, This is what people need to realize. But let me read Seabass's text, and then I'll get to my point. Then we'll get to the picks for today. He says, Keon, my friend, be humble. It's only 3 games into the season. Anything can happen. Just look at my Carolina Panthers. Started the season as the worst team in football, and now we finally have a quarterback and the offense is opened up. Much love, Keon. Over. Thank you, Seabass. The thing is, I have rooted for the Commanders since I was 12. That's actually earlier than that, but 99 is when I started watching Washington football. There hasn't been much to cheer for in that entire window of time. And anytime there is, I celebrate like it's the Super Bowl. Doesn't happen that often. I live in it and I roll around in it, and it is disgusting and it is filthy, and nobody wants to talk to me after. And I apologize for absolutely nothing. 0 things.
You know, the other thing with Seabass there too. Seabass sounds pretty aware of who next week's opponent is, and we talked about this a little bit before the show. But the Carolina Panthers have the great fortune of being able to take on the Cincinnati Bengals next week.
Yeah, if it could be the Cincinnati get right game. You might be able to get to 500. Seabass. Just think about that.
Nice little Andy Dalton revenge game spot there.
Andy Dalton revenge game
coming in after a pretty nice performance in Las Vegas
against a really good defense,
and getting it at home too. Panthers going to be at home for that one, so you've got a fan base that maybe is a little rejuvenated, seeing something better than the product that's been on the field when Bryce Young is the quarterback. So that's a promising matchup.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting and fun. Baker's Cocky Hens also says, I did get pretty lucky with my live bet. Took Commanders -5, 4.5. That missed 2-point conversion saved me.
Ooh.
And then I hit plus 250 on odds live. So he got his live betting game, Baker's Cocky Hens, doing him some favors there.
I think that's really probably the opportunity right now is, and it's something naturally that I'm not like, it's never really kind of my top priority to try and live bet a game, but that kind of seems to be the angle that perhaps you should start trying to take, with trying to profit off these games.
I know we got a couple of minutes here left of airtime, so we'll go ahead and get to your picks, but I think that's something that Sport Trade is going to make a whole lot easier moving forward is the live bet game. That's something I'm really looking forward to.
Same here. So as far as those picks go for today, very happy to say we do not have NFL football on today. So really hoping the chances of us getting scammed and bamboozled is just severely less.
By more underdogs and
no letdowns today. And that's going to even go as far to include my Arizona Diamondbacks, who yesterday had a unimpressive showing in the series opener against the Giants. They lost 6-3. So now we get a pretty good pitching matchup. D-backs have Brandon Pfaadt on the mound. Giants have Logan Webb going for them. Webb is obviously one of their top 2 pitchers, but on the road, he's not nearly as good as he is at home. He's got an ERA of about 4.66. Brandon Pfaadt generally does better at home. He is coming off his arguably best game of his career with 12 strikeouts at the Brewers. So when you're looking at this game today in the context of everything, Diamondbacks are in the 3rd wild card slot, only a game and a half above the Braves. The Braves are playing the Mets, who are half a game above the D-backs in the 2nd wild card spot. So there's going to be a lot of craziness that's going to happen. Those guys play a 3-game series. That could change things, but either way you look at it, Diamondbacks have their back against the wall again. And this is where they like it. So you can count on the Diamondbacks to win. The first pick is to take them on the money line. Next pick is in the WNBA. Very lopsided matchup between the Atlanta Dream and the New York Liberty. Spread on this one is anywhere between 12 to 14 points favoring the Liberty. I actually recommended taking a more conservative pick on FanDuel. You can do a 11+ win margin for the New York Liberty. So they just have to win the game by 11 or more. That was one where AI did recommend the chance of that happening did greatly exceed where the market had it priced at. So good opportunity to profit on that one. But make sure you follow me on Instagram at Beat the Book Fanatic, all spelled out. Click the link in the bio. That'll take you right to the Beat the Book webpage, or you can just search it in your browser. You'll probably end up getting to the right place. You'll see all the other picks that I've got posted on there. There's additional WNBA plays. There's more baseball plays. There's various different parlays on there. There's a long shot parlay. So make sure you check that out. And don't forget to tune in this coming Friday. Alex Kane will be back on the program to talk more about Sport Trade. They are going to be launching very, very soon here. So get that account set up, and then they're going to text you once it goes live, and you'll know that you can start betting.
Which is very cool. On the text line, Baker's Cocky Hen says, do I take the boost for Kettle Metal? Plus 155 on DraftKings for 1.5 hit run RBI.
So ironically enough, I actually took that same boost. So I am playing it privately. I like the way Ketel Marte has been playing lately. He got the day off yesterday, but I just want to caution that pick. If you look at how he has performed against Logan Webb, he does have a fairly high amount of strikeouts, but I think he can still overcome that and have a good showing today, especially when the Diamondbacks need it the most. So I do like that play. Use that boost.
I think the Diamondbacks are going to make it, Seabass. Catch you later.
Hi, I'm Mike Ham with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Week 3 wrapped up with a Monday night doubleheader. In the early window, Josh Allen tossed 4 first-half touchdowns, and the Bills remain undefeated after they blew past the Jags 47-10. In the second game, Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, they upset the Bengals in Cincinnati 38-33, sending the Bengals to an 0-3 record for the first time in Joe Burrow's career. In Los Angeles, Chargers rookie right tackle Joe Alt suffered an MCL sprain on Sunday and is expected to miss some time, while Pro Bowl left tackle Sean Slater also likely to be out against the Chiefs because of a strained pectoral muscle. Over in the NFC, Sam Laporta is day-to-day after suffering an ankle injury in Sunday's win over the Cardinals. In Minnesota, Tom Pelissero is reporting that Sam Darnold is not expected to miss any time after an MRI revealed a knee bruise. No structural damage to the quarterback. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Wendy's